Hello, dreamers, doers, and achievers. I'm Tyson, your host, and I invite you to join me on a new adventure called Sharing Success with Tyson. Each week, we dive into the most inspiring stories of individuals who have transformed their dreams into reality. From the entrepreneurs who started from nothing to the artists who see the world differently, we share the journeys that inspire and motivate. Whether you're looking to ignite a long-held passion or find encouragement in your daily grind, Sharing Success with Tyson is your weekly dose of motivation. Together, let's redefine success and achieve the extraordinary. Hello, y'all. Welcome back to season 2, episode 2 of the Sharing Success podcast. This is super exciting because this is the first solo episode I've done in like 6 months. A few things. Hopefully, my intention is moving forward that we can do a lot more solo episodes. I want to get back to, I love having guests on, and I think that's a treat. But I definitely want to get back to incorporating myself into there for more episodes because I feel like I have lost myself and my vision in the grand scheme of things. So I'm very excited moving forward. Another thing, I am a little bit under the weather. So my voice may sound just a wee bit, I don't know, just a wee bit low. So bear with me on that. But I'm super excited because let me tell you something. I am not going to let you do what you did last year for 2025. I'm not going to let you do it. I am not going to let you play small anymore. I'm not going to let you put yourself on the back burner any longer. It is time to shine. And that's what I am here to help you do. I'm here to help you set goals for 2025. I'm here to give you an action plan to achieve it. And I'm so excited to see where it takes you. I truly believe that if you recognize your potential moving into 2025, that your whole life is going to change. If you get serious about knowing the impact that you can have and about really chasing your goals like you've always said that you will, I think you'll be really, really surprised at the life you have this time next year. So let's get serious about it. Let's talk about it. I want us to make sure that this episode focuses on setting and achieving goals for the new year, 2025, right? For those who have not listened before, welcome. My name is Tyson. This is the Sharing Success podcast. I have people on here. We talk about how everyday people and not so everyday people alike have found and achieved their success. And I also give lessons, tips, workshops, all that fun stuff on success as well. The goal here with this podcast is to realize that truly anybody can find success. I'm so glad that you're here. We're going to talk about making our goals, setting them, right? Making them clear and actionable. And most importantly, we want to talk about how to stay consistent so you can achieve them. I feel like this is personal for me this year. Without getting too in depth, at the beginning of this year, I had kind of a come to Jesus moment with myself. I looked at my life and I didn't realize it anymore. And some things had happened that had really put things into perspective for me. And I realized that I was playing small intentionally, that I was afraid of my true self. I was afraid of stepping into shoes that I felt that I couldn't fill. And I was afraid of letting people down. And I think I had to have a really hard look at myself and give myself a pep talk, just like I love giving other people. And I really had to tell myself that it doesn't matter what other people think of me at the end of the day. What matters is how I perceive myself and the success that I have achieved. And it was almost like a weight lifted off my shoulders when I realized that the perception of others didn't matter to me anymore. And I'm going to get emotional. I was just looking at my vision board that I made with my husband at the beginning of this year. We both made vision boards. And everything on that vision board came true this year. Everything. All because I dared to dream. And all because I decided to put other people's perception of me on the back burner. I wasn't living for other people. I was living for myself. And I asked myself how I wanted my life to look. And I asked myself what type of woman I wanted to be. And then regardless of whether I thought I was that woman, I started being her. And it was so scary. It has been so scary. But guess what? This year, I've started a podcast. I've gained a following on social media. I've started taking brand deals. I traveled out of the country for the first time. Um, I achieved a lot of my health and fitness goals. And I am ending the year with a group of friends that in a community that I could have ever only dreamed of as an introvert. And that's all from putting myself out there and believing that even though I couldn't see how I was going to get from point A to point B, how I was going to get from the woman that I currently was to the woman that I wanted to be, just going for it anyways, and taking that leap, that's where that all came from. Um, Anyways, I'm rambling, but I just want to say this is personal, and I want you to make 2025 personal. I want you to make your pursuit of success in this next year personal, and I want you to watch how it changes your life. Okay, now that I'm done crying, let's talk about the importance of goal setting. Setting goals and constantly growing is absolutely crucial for success. If you talk to any person that you would deem successful, they say that they never stay stagnant. They are always going, they are always achieving the next thing. They are always raising the bar. Because if you don't have aspirations, if you don't have that next level to aspire to, you're going to stay right where you are. And complacency is absolutely the thief of success. We don't ever want to stay complacent. We want to keep striving for greater. With that being said, having a clear vision is going to give you direction and it's going to give you purpose. We don't want half-baked goals. We don't want goals that are semi-specific, right? Oh, I want to feel great next year. Well, you can't measure that. There's no way to quantify that. So we want to make sure that we are very clear about our vision and our direction and that it has purpose. So, like I said, there's a clear difference between vague resolutions and specific and actionable goals. Let's talk about the steps to setting effective goals. First, I want you to reflect on the past year. This is the part that everybody loves, right? Not really. I want you to think about your achievements, which we all love thinking about, and I encourage you to get serious about this. Sit down with a journal or a piece of paper or make a note in your phone and write down your achievements, write down everything you're proud of. Also, I want you to write down your challenges. I want you to write what you really struggled with and maybe the places that you didn't end up that you wanted to go, the person that you didn't end up being that you wanted to be. Figure out what worked well and figure out what you want to improve. Really put this all down on paper, even if it's like a stream of consciousness journaling exercise. Make sure that you are doing the work to put it all on paper. Really reflect about 2024. The next one, you've probably heard about this in school. We're going to revisit it again. We want you to set SMART goals. SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Specific, like I said before, we don't want anything vague. Instead of I want to feel great, we want that to be I want to track my mood every day on my mood tracker app, and I want my mood to be 8 or above on a scale of 1 to 10, 80% of the year, right? We want it to be very specific, and that ties into the next one: measurable. We want our goal to be something that we can track throughout the year. Achievable. We want it to be realistic, but that's not saying it can be audacious. The best goals are the ones that scare you, right? So if you are somebody who, I don't know, lives in the great state of Utah and your goal is to make it to the moon, but you have no connections to NASA or anything like that, that may not be achievable for you. But if your goal was to travel throughout Japan this year, that's absolutely achievable because you can buy a plane ticket and you can do that. So make sure it's achievable. Relevant. We want to make sure that your goals are relevant. So if you are somebody who loves to bake and your goal is to really get more prominent in the baking sphere, if your goal became, I don't know, beating the world record time for the fastest sprint, that necessarily wouldn't be relevant to who you are authentically, and it wouldn't necessarily align with your overall goals. So we want to make sure it's pertinent to who you want to be. And then the last one, time bound. We want to make sure this is a goal that we can measure time wise. A lot of these goals may apply throughout the whole year, it may be certain parts of the year, it just depends on the specific goal itself. And another thing that I wanted to touch on with setting these goals is it's okay to break goals down into smaller steps to make them more achievable. So if you have a big goal that's, I don't know, by the end of, so let's continue with the baking analogy, right? Say you love baking and by the end of the year you want to win a gold medal in a baking contest. You need to set smaller goals to get there. So that's okay to do. Your first step would be to practice your baking, make sure that your three-tier cakes are excellent before you enter a three-tier cake baking contest. So you need to make sure that if you have a larger goal, you can break it up throughout the year as well. That's totally okay to do. We also want to talk about making your goals meaningful. So tying goals to a deeper purpose can keep your motivation high. A lot of people like to call this their why. Why are you setting these goals? Are you setting these goals to make yourself proud? Are you setting these goals so you can inspire your children? Are you setting these goals because you have a greater goal of becoming financially free? So, we really want you to get to your why. So, keep asking yourself, why do I have this goal? Okay, I have this goal because I think I'll be successful. Why do you think it will make you successful? I think it will make me successful because this is a dream I've always wanted to accomplish. Why have you always wanted to accomplish this dream? So keep asking yourself why until you reach that pinpoint reason, and that's really going to tie those goals and it's going to tie them to a deeper meaning, and that's going to help motivate you. So really think about why your goals matter to you on a personal level so you can use that as your fuel throughout the year. Let's talk about overcoming some common obstacles. The first one, and this is so common, lack of motivation. And like I said, it's very common. Ways that you can stay motivated when your progress feels slow. Let's talk about let's kind of tie it back to what we were just talking about. Always go back to your why. Why are you doing this? Another thing is sometimes motivation is just not going to cut it. Sometimes you just need to have a habit in place. And that is where dedication comes in. So you're not always going to be motivated, but you will be dedicated. You need to make a promise to yourself at the beginning of this year. I'm actually going to take these goals seriously. And say if your goal is to get to the gym every morning at 7 a.m. and you wake up one morning at 6 when you're supposed to get ready and you're saying, you know what? I'm just not motivated. I'm tired. Guess what? In that case, even reminding yourself your why sometimes isn't enough to pull you out of bed. That's where dedication kicks in. That's where grit kicks in. It's that intrinsic need to be a better person, to be 1% better than yesterday, that's going to push you out of bed. So at that point, motivation's out the door. It's just the fact that you tell yourself, hey, I'm giving you some tough love. We don't have a choice. We've got to do this. And that's where muscle memory and habit comes into play too. So make sure that you're taking habits seriously, that you are creating routines that suit your lifestyle and that complement your goals, so all of this can really flow together nicely without hiccups. Another thing is procrastination. I am queen of procrastinating. Hello, hi. That is the neurodivergent gal in me. And a really great way to beat procrastination is going to be setting micro goals and then setting up a reward system. So for me, if I know that I'm really overwhelmed at the aspect of reaching this goal that seems all the way down there, I'm going to set, like we talked about earlier, small goals along the way. And each time I reach a small goal, I get a reward. And that is really going to help your procrastination. It's going to make you continue to want to go towards that goal instead of waiting until the last minute. Another thing is productivity tools. So, a lot of people, I'm a list girl. Lists help me achieve all that I need to. I have reminders set on my phone. I have a calendar that I keep on my iPad. I constantly have electronics or paper in front of me that are reminding me what I need to do so I do not get off track. That's another really great way to hold yourself accountable. And setbacks. So let's talk about setbacks because inevitably they are part of the process. There's going to be a goal that you thought that you could achieve in a time in a time constraint you don't. There's going to be times when you go out on a limb and you try something and it doesn't work out. It's inevitable. But the thing about setbacks is you need to keep going even when things don't go as planned. The difference between the people that succeed and the people that don't is that successful people will get back up after they fall and they will keep going like nothing has happened. But the people that struggle are the ones that are going to sit and they are going to ruminate in their failure. They are going to continue to tell themselves, I'm not good enough. Of course, why would I even try this? Because if David Goggins or if, um, I don't know, if Oprah Winfrey, if Martin Luther King, if Adele, if any of your favorite writers, singers, actresses, actors, anybody like that, if they let themselves ruminate and be held back by their failures, the world would not be the same world that it is today. And that's all there is to it. You have to reach a point where what you want is greater than your fear of failing, and you will be a-okay. So keep on trucking when you reach a point where you fail, because it does happen even to the greatest every once in a while. Ask yourself what lesson that you can learn from it, chalk it up, and move on. Okay? And the last thing that I really wanted to talk about, and this is something that's really important to me, is fear. So I want you to understand. And please, like, if you have not taken a single note during this podcast, please take a note on this right now. Understand that being uncomfortable is equal to growth. The uncomfy times, the growing periods, the changes that we experience, all of those mean that you're growing, you're learning, you're getting outside of your comfort zone. And is it scary? Heck yes, it's scary. Do we want to be in those situations? No, but we put ourselves in those situations, so we've got to figure it out. If every person let what they were afraid of hold them back, they would not achieve what they want to achieve. Okay? Y'all can probably hear my dog breathing right next to me right now. I'm so sorry. We're just going to deal with it. But please remember that in the uncomfortableness comes growth. So the next time that you are feeling discomfort, please roll with it, because you are going to come out the other side a better person. You know what's funny, y'all? We just talked about not letting setbacks keep us from pushing through. And would you believe it if I told you that I just finished recording this episode and then I realized that my mic was not recording? So, guess what? We're doing a take two. But it would have been really easy for me to throw in the towel and say, you know what? I don't want to spend more time on this. And maybe this episode just wasn't meant to be. I'm so frustrated. But guess what? I understand that stuff like that is going to happen. You let it roll off your back. Do not let the setbacks hold you back from that success. So, we've talked about overcoming those obstacles. Now, let's talk about how to stay accountable and follow through. Something that's been huge for me is being able to track your progress. You can do this on an app, you can do this in a journal. I love to make little fun charts for my husband and I, and we put a cute little sticker up whenever we achieve one of our daily habits that we aspire to get done every day. So make tracking things fun, but also realize that in tracking things and holding yourself accountable in that way, you are going to be able to see where you started and then where you are at any given point in time. And the hope is that seeing your progress can help motivate you to continue to push through. Seeing that progress, it's amazing in being a motivator because you learn to celebrate the small wins. Another way to follow through is accountability. You need to find somebody who is going to hold you accountable and make sure that you are showing up for yourself to achieve these goals. So, because think about it this way, if you don't tell anybody that you're making these grand goals and you're so excited, when your motivation runs out, I can promise it's going to be a lot less easy to be dedicated if nobody knows you're striving to achieve this specific goal. You can say, nobody knows I was really going for it anyways, but sometimes the shame of having to tell people that you didn't follow through with certain goals is enough to be the motivation that you need. So find an accountability partner, your friend, your coworker, your spouse. You can even put your goals on social media. Actually, I encourage that. Let people cheer you on. Let people hold you accountable. Inspire other people. I'm huge with that. So, there are also apps that you can use that will check in with you, make sure that you've done that. Um, find a way to hold yourself accountable to make sure that you're showing up for yourself. And the last one is to build consistency. Make goal related actions a daily habit. I cannot tell you enough how much making sure that my schedule is conducive to the habits that I need to continue to enforce has changed my life. If you are somebody where you never know what your day to day schedule looks like, you just have kind of a crazy work schedule or something like that, but one of your goals is to read from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. every day, there's no way that is going to happen. So you need to make sure that the goals that you're setting, the habits that you're cultivating, that you have your life schedule set up to be aligned with that. So just be smart about, just be smart about the habits that you are making, and making sure that they fit into your schedule nicely. Because if your habits, if your habits and your schedule can complement one another, chef's kiss. You are set for success. Um, now I want to touch on some action steps for y'all. You guys can probably hear my dog breathing really heavily next to me. I want to give you guys a call to action. I want you guys to write down right now one major goal for 2025 that meets the SMART criteria that we talked about earlier. It's going to need to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Okay, so you want something that meets all of that criteria for 2025. And if you need to, break it up into smaller pieces. That's okay. And I want you, like I said earlier, share your goals on social media or with a friend to make sure that you're held accountable. If you share it on social media, I would love if you tag me, or I would love if you put hashtag sharing success podcast. And then I urge y'all to keep me in the loop. Write to me, message me throughout the next year. Let me know how your goals are going. Let me know what you've achieved, the small successes, so we can celebrate you on the podcast. I would love to, if moving forward, I could shout out y'all and your wins and how you're staying consistent and achieving your goals. I would love that. And then I invite y'all, just as I said, to keep tuning in to upcoming episodes because I will keep giving further guidance on goals and how to stay on track. Y'all, it's been a journey. We've talked about the importance of goal setting. We've talked about how to set effective goals. We've talked about overcoming common obstacles. We've talked about how to stay accountable and follow through. And then I gave y'all a little homework assignment. I feel like this is a great stepping stone for your success in 2025. I just want everybody to know that you have the power to make 2025 the best year of your life. I can feel it in my bones. This is it for us, y'all. Step by step and goal by goal, we are going to make our dreams come true. Guys, thank you for listening so much. I encourage you to subscribe. Please share this with anybody who needs that extra encouragement in achieving and setting their goals. And as always, keep striving, keep sharing, and keep succeeding. Thanks, y'all.